Hello, everyone. I'm going to be talking about exercise 6, which includes the ordering systems that you did here. And we're going to be creating some interesting compositions using these ordering systems, right? If you had seen the PowerPoint, then it sort of made sense on a macro and micro scale, right, on how we use ordering systems. So what you're going to do first is you're going to take a piece of trash or trace, right? And we're going to tape it. We're going to tape it over the sheet. You can see that it's really clear underneath, right? That's what's nice about this trash. Make sure you cut it nice and straight, right? I'm going to put my drafting dots up above here. And then at the end, we'll take the tape off, right? And we'll look at it. Let's go ahead and put them down at the bottom too, just so you don't have any movement. Okay, so what we're going to do first, when you look at the exercise sheet, there'll be 4 videos for each of the 4 assignments here, the 4 sheets that we're going to do in exercise 6. So the first thing we're going to do for the first sheet is we're going to create 1/8" circles that represent columns, and then we're going to create some walls that are 1/8" thick, and the circles also are 1/8" diameter. And the walls are to extend a 1/16 inch past any horizontal line, if there is a horizontal line. For instance, let me show you, I sketched something out here. In this sketchbook here, the light lines are the grid lines, right? And here's the wall. This dimension here should be an 1/8" thick. 1/8" represents a wall. And then the circles are an 1/8" in diameter. You're going to do all this by freehand. By hand, and you're going to design this composition using only 2 walls and 2 columns in each box based on the ordering system below. All freehand, and then you're going to choose at least one color. I'm going to choose 2 colors to color in the walls, and then another color to color in the columns. So you want to achieve a balance in each box by creating 2 walls and 2 columns. And I'm going to start with pen here, and I'm going to start with this box here in the corner. Let's see, I'm going to move this camera and bring it down a little bit. Focus in on this box here, with these boxes in the corner. So I'm going to try to create a balance here in this composition using 2 columns and 2 walls. And remember, we got to be in 1/8" for the walls, 1/8", or it's any one of these tick marks, right? 1/8". That's how wide it's got to be. And we're going to place the walls within the grid system, in the center of the grid system, center lines. So the grid system is like a center line, right? Walls will be in the center of the line, and they will extend a 1/16 inch beyond any vertical, which is 1/2 of an 1/8. So I'm going to just get started here. I'm going to do it freehand by pencil first, and I'm going to draw a column, right, that will be in the crosshairs of the grid. You just want to make sure you're close, right? And let's put, I don't know, let's put another column. Let's put another column down here. Another column, 1/8" diameter, and then I got to balance it out with a couple walls, right? And the walls could be any length, but just remember that the wall is in the center of your grid lines, and it comes down, about a 1/16 of an inch past, down or up the horizontal line. So I'm going to create a wall like so. Like that. I'll darken it in, and then maybe to balance this out, I'll draw a horizontal wall here, and then like that. Remember going past any vertical or horizontal a 16th. So I got my 2 columns and then 2 walls. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ink pen. And I'll zoom in here. I'm going to ink this column. Ink this wall like so. And then I'm going to ink this wall up here, steady as I go. All right, and then I'm going to ink the column there. So I have my 2 columns and my walls. They're in the center of the grid lines. They go past any vertical or horizontal a 16th. They don't end up right on the line. They go past it a 16th down here as well, and then there as well. Now what I'm going to do is I picked these 2 colors. I don't know what this is here. These 2 kind of interesting colors. And I'm going to color the column that color and that color, and then these walls. I'll leave it up to you what kind of pressure you want to do or achieve. I'm going to go vertical here, but again, remember, I want to try to be consistent and have a nice wash. There we go. So there is, again, what I like about this project is you have these ordering systems, right, that we had talked about in the PowerPoint. Now, based on the ordering systems, you can put in elements such as columns and walls. And now you're going to repeat that in each of these 8 squares that we have here, right? And you're going to use the underlying ordering system that you use to create a composition like this. Again, think about balance. You know, for instance, you know, this one, let's do this one here. Let me see. I want to right there. Let's do this one, right? So you want to check that your walls, it's pretty good here, this one. You want to check that it's a foot, an 1/8 inch thick right there, right? And they are. Just make sure the thickness of the wall is not too big. I can tell if a wall's an 1/8 inch thick, you know. Just make it an 1/8 inch thick and make sure that wall's in the center line of these lines of each grid system. So for instance, if I want to do something down here in this one, right, I'm going to do with pencil first just to make sure, right. I'm going to let's put a wall here, and it's going to go on an angle, right, and it's 1/8 inch thick. I'm eyeing it. I want you to make sure it's 1/8 inch thick using your scale. There's a wall there, right? Let's say I put a wall here. This is going to look pretty interesting because it's going to look like it's flaring out, right? There's a wall there, right? And now maybe we put the column right in the center of this node. How about that, right? Or that node where all the lines intersect. Maybe we put that column, that 1/8 inch round column, making sure it's 1/8 inch round. And then what about if we put a column, I don't know, put one here. What about if we put one right here, a column? Now granted, there's not a line going this way, right? But it's on this sort of ordering system, these lines. And now let me ink that in. Column. Let's ink in that wall there, and let's ink in. And again, your walls can be any length. Obviously, don't make them go past the box. See, now that wall is probably a little bit thick. It's in the ballpark. Now, here, I will color this column in. color that column in. And then I'm going to color the walls, right? The walls that are 1/8 inch thick. Again, we're using these ordering systems to create a balanced composition of these elements. Let's render this. And you're going to find out when you create these compositions with these different elements, these so-called columns and walls, you're going to get some really interesting patterns, right? Like down here, this one's interesting because it's coming off of that orange system. This one's going to be really interesting, right? And then all these other ones with the tartan grid and this system that we have down here. So let me zoom in here, see what I'm talking about. Kind of interesting, right? See, I got the wall that is an 1/8 inch thick. All right, there you go, 1/8 inch thick. And then that diameter circle's an 1/8 inch, right? Because there's the 1/8 inch from the 0 over, or any of these tick marks, these small ones, that's an 1/8 inch. So in all 8 of these, there's that one. In all 8 of these boxes, you'll have 2 columns and 2 walls. You're going to create a balanced composition. Again, I would do it in pencil first, and then in ink. And yeah, that's the first sheet.